Welcome back to another episode, my friend. So my two passions in life are cameras and motorcycles. So today's tutorial, we're going to be demonstrating cinematography tips specific to your drone documenting your motorcycle trips so you can craft much better videos. Let's go. Let's start with gear and important camera angles. Any respectable filmmaking kit includes these three basic cameras. Anything made within the last 3-4 years is incredibly capable, and that's all you need. I recently got this little controller mount that's working great. I got a suction cup and this machined aluminum mount. It's extremely sturdy. The reason I want my drone controller mounted down here and not up on the handlebars is when I'm filming my riding, I don't like the look of the bright controller up here on the handlebars where you can see it easily. It's much less conspicuous mounted low on the gas tank here, and I can be recording with my helmet camera at the same time and not have the big controller in the shot. There's a link down below if you want to check those out. They're sold separately, by the way. So I use this clamp and adjustable arm to mount my GoPro in 6 different locations. There's the front view, the side mount, the ass mount, of course, the helmet mount. The selfie shot. And finally, the breast mount. I prefer the helmet mount for riding and the chest mount for the non-riding POV footage like this. So there's an industry term here I want you to learn. It's called coverage, and it simply means getting a variety of shots in the scene to effectively storytell and make it engaging. So I'm going to show you a quick scene right now. It has 10 different clips, all from my drone. Some are active tracks, some are static shots. There's even one shot where I have the drone on the ground. So after you watch the video, I'm going to show you a bunch of little tricks I used. So the opening shot, I have no camera movement. I wanted it to be like a beautiful photograph, just happens that the subject is moving. But I added a very slow zoom in editing. You can see here, I basically just cropped in maybe about 5%. The second shot is another static shot, no camera movement. And because the subject is so small, that's the only thing moving in the frame. So it really draws the attention of the viewer to the subject. So the third shot is the establishing shot. There's no subject in the scene here. It's basically just informing the audience where the scene is taking place. And it's starting to introduce some dynamic camera movement, which is a nice change from the first 2 static shots. Oh, I love this shot. Now there's 0 camera movement here. I'm basically just cropping in, and then through keyframing, it's just a Ken Burns effect. So it's sliding from left to right. Another static shot, I'm basically pushing in and editing again. It's about a 10 to 15% crop in. So for this shot, I put my drone on the ground and I lined everything up, my tire and the sun, so that they're right on top of each other. Then I put a piece of tape on the ground, and then I rode my motorcycle to stop right on that piece of tape. This is a beautiful shot. I kind of wish I tried a quick shots here, which I prefer more than the tracking shots. Quick shots always give you a nice steady shot. For this shot, I moved the drone pretty low, and I've talked about this before. I put the subject so it's piercing the horizon line, gives you a really pronounced subject. This beautiful shot here, I decided to make it my ending shot, kind of like I arrived and the motorcycle trip, I reached my destination. Putting on my filmmaker hat now, I see drone shots as kind of the meat of the motorcycle video, and the action camera shots are more like the condiments. And our A camera, meaning our mirrorless cameras, those are the perfectly fresh, crispy bread for the sandwich. You really do need a mix of all three of those. The action camera shots, those are the ones that really convey the speed and the emotions of that first-person perspective. And they're crucial to breaking up the longer, slower drone shots. And getting that variety of angles, it really increases the visual engagement. Then the static A camera shots with our mirrorless cameras, those are very important in helping with the storytelling. They're static shots, obviously, so we have more time to carefully compose those shots. Think about what information we want included in the shot to help tell the overall story in the scene. I think of those shots as composing a photograph. It just so happens that there's some movement in the shot. Got it? So each of those cameras has their very distinct purpose of what they're adding to the motorcycle videos that we're creating. And remember, this is Film School 101 right here. The essential building blocks for any scene is the wide establishing shot and the mid shot, then the close-up shots. You've got to have all three of those shot types. It really helps to remember this when you're planning your motorcycle trip. So that's the pre-production. So now when we sit down to edit, we have those wide shots, mid shots, and close-ups, those POV shots. That's what builds a proper scene. Okay, drone settings. I'm always in 4K, 24 frames a second, auto exposure. I use no ND filter during low light and on cloudy days, and on sunny days, I use an ND64. That is it. I have nothing to think about, no decisions to make. I'm not futzing over CPL filters and anamorphic and monitoring the histogram and the zebras and changing ND filters and changing ISO. None of that. I'm putting all of my time and focus and attention on the creative decisions in my scene. It's so much work to constantly stop and change all these different camera shots. I have 6 different GoPro shots and about 5 different drone shots that I use, and a few of my mirrorless camera shots. So now, if you're in manual exposure in your drone, you're now constantly distracted by monitoring the histogram and zebras and looking at the little exposure meter, thinking about changing ND filters. You cannot think about all of that stuff and think about proper framing your drone shots and what drone movement is suitable right now, and analyze how the light is falling on your subject, you and your motorcycle, and make the necessary creative adjustments. That's why I'm always emphatically saying just use auto exposure and have one ND filter. That is it. Throw away all of your other accessories. Now you can truly focus on crafting better footage, because that is the only path to better videos, is to improve your cinematography skills. Let the auto exposure algorithm get you correct exposure 100% of the time. Now you can practice your skills. Think about getting better composition, things like variety of shots, all those important decisions. Think about this. When you're watching Blade Runner and Mad Max, those movies have terrible dynamic range. They have noise in the shadows. They don't have motion blur that is technically perfect, because none of that matters. The only thing that matters is a cool ass subject, strong framing, strong lighting, and the subject and storytelling. Beginner filmmakers are brainwashed to be obsessed with gear and motion blur for some reason. Now, one of the biggest things you can do to improve your motorcycle adventure videos is include more drone B-roll of you actually not riding. I think a lot of beginners, they want to get right to that money shot of having the drone active track follow along as they're buzzing along on their motorcycle. Yes, super important shot. I would even say that's a foundational shot. But when you also have strong B-roll to complement it, now it's complete. The scene is well-rounded, it's more immersive and engaging. It helps tell your full story about the motorcycle journey, about your life journey. So now it's just not a bunch of motorcycle clips, it's part of a bigger story, it's part of your story. Oh man, why is it that these two pieces of machinery resonate so strongly with us middle-aged guys around the world? My hypothesis is this, is that cameras and motorcycles, they both take this constant stream of life that passes by so fast, and it breaks life up into these little scenes that we can kind of hold on to and admire. I like that. So now I'm on my 5th professional career. I'm a nomadic filmmaker telling stories with my camera on my motorcycle. Life is simple again. It's slow again. Like when we were kids, the days lasted forever. Cameras and motorcycles, I think it does that for us in a small way. We must be fully present in the moment with these machines. It's all about creativity and capturing all the little moments along the way. Living slowly, living creatively. I used to constantly forget to put the drone up super high to get those big wide establishing shots. And I'd also forget to sometimes bring in the drone really close to get those good details that are really engaging for the viewer. So I wrote out this outline for myself. I have this piece of paper with me all the time when I'm riding and filming so that I can reference it and make sure that I never forget those important shots. Because man, when we're on location, there's so much going on in our heads to remember that it's so easy to forget. So I wrote this list down in the description if you want to print it out for yourself. Man, I have so much fun making these videos and sharing them with you guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Did I forget anything? Do you have suggestions for upcoming episodes? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.